My stepmom, she's always made my life troublesome. I tried to give her a chance, I tried, but when I saw her phone going off and I checked it one day, I found out that she was texting something to her boss that was very, very inappropriate, so I'm gonna tell my dad. I'm 22. I just found out that my stepmother, let's call her Crystal, is cheating on my dad with her boss. Crystal used to be my mom's work best friend. Yep, you read it right, so here's a bit of a backstory. My mother worked at this big marketing firm, and Crystal was her younger, super cool friend from the office. They hit it off right away, and Mom always talked about how good and how fun she was. Soon enough, Crystal became a part of our family. She was there for birthdays, holidays, and even came along on a new family vacation. She and Mom were like sisters from different moms, and it wasn't long before she became a trusted friend to the whole family. To be honest, she became like the fun aunt I never really had. I remember the first time Mom invited Crystal over for dinner. Crystal had this infectious energy lighting up the room with her aura and energy, or whatever you call it. She seemed to have a knack for connecting with everyone and made us feel like we've been friends with her for life, like forever. Well, but then things started to get weird between her and Dad. At first it was subtle. Crystal would stay over a little later after dinner, after helping us with the dishes, and then she started helping Dad with some paperwork, or just chatting with him on the porch. I didn't think much of it. After all, she was practically family. Then there was this one family vacation where things really started to feel off. See, we were in this cozy cabin by a lake, and then one evening I saw them. It was late and everybody else had gone to sleep. When I saw Crystal and Dad sitting way too close on the couch, whispering and laughing softly. I went to brush it off at first, thinking maybe it was just the angle of my tired eyes playing tricks on me. But as the trip went on, I noticed more. It gnawed at me, but I did not say anything. How could I? Crystal was like family. I just watched them from a distance, feeling a knot tighten in my stomach. That gut feeling? Yeah, that's what I felt. Back home, things went back to normal, or so I tried to convince myself. But once you start seeing something, it's hard to unsee it. So I decided to observe Dad and Crystal, and I began to notice more and more. It was unsettling. But I brushed it off again, convincing myself I was just being paranoid. Honestly, looking back, I wish I said something sooner. Maybe things would have been different from how they are now. Then, a few weeks later, I caught them. I was looking for Dad's phone to check the time, and as I picked it up, a notification popped up. And curiosity got the better of me. I opened it and saw suggestive text messages from Crystal. They were flirty, convincing Dad that they should already get together and nobody would even know. Well, guess what, Crystal? I know. See, I didn't know what to do and immediately let go of the phone in shock. I should have gotten the evidence and shown it to my mother, but I was a kid. I didn't know any better. So, after I realized my mistake, I decided to gather more evidence before telling anybody. I tried to tell Mom about Crystal's behavior, but she would brush it off, just being overly friendly and affectionate. She was even angry at me for thinking so lowly of Father and Crystal, because according to her, they would never betray her. Then she went to her room and packed her things because she had a work trip. But that same day and that same evening, Mother came home earlier than expected. Her flight was canceled because of a nasty storm. As soon as she got home, she went straight to their room, and that's where she found them. In the middle of their bed, where Father and Crystal were doing the coitus deed. I just found Mom dragging Crystal by the arm like a WWE superstar, and Father was screaming to cover himself and sputter out excuses. But she was having none of it. She pointed at the door and told them to beat it. Scram. Well, I admit, what Mom did was awesome and cool, but after that, our lives changed forever. Mom filed for a divorce, citing infidelity. And of course, Dad tried to plead for forgiveness, but Mom was not having any of it. Mom trusted them both, and that's what they do in return. I was really traumatized back then. I mean, how could they do this to us? How do you even get back from something so tragic like that? I felt like my family was this beautiful painting that was starting to crack and peel, and I didn't know how to stop it. But as they say, life went on, and a year later I was finalized with a divorce. I was left to Father because according to Mom, he is more capable of making my life better, as he does earn a lot more than she does. My relationship with father was not the same anymore. Trust was broken, and it would take a long time to heal. I admit I feel guilty for being so cruel to him, because he was doing his best to regain my trust. But the damage had been done. Then, a few months later, Crystal started coming back to our house, and she looked like she was courting my father. And like before, Dad fell for her charms. Again, not long after Crystal moved in with us, I saw that opportunity to confront her. The morning after her first night with us, I confronted her and asked why she had betrayed us. Well, she tried to justify her actions, claiming that father was unhappy in his marriage with Mom. She even tried to manipulate me, suggesting that Mom was not doing her job as a wife. Her words only made me angry, and I was absolutely furious. The relationship had dragged on for years before Dad finally proposed almost a year ago. Luckily, I got to escape the awkwardness by living in a college dorm every time school started, sparing myself the daily sight of Crystal in Dad's face. Seriously, who wants to start their day by staring at the people who betrayed them and ruined their life? Soon after, they got married in a church with barely any guests. Not surprising, considering the scandal surrounding their relationship, LOL. They totally deserved the empty pews and whispers, and I didn't even want to be there, but father threatened that he would not pay my tuition if he did not see me at the wedding. So there I was, bored out of my mind, watching them exchange vows with my phone at 7%. Even some of our so-called close friends and family were absent, probably giving their silent disapproval. The whole event was dull and lifeless, which they deserve, by the way. They should be ashamed of themselves, man. If you guys were wondering what happened to Mom, well, she started to rebuild her life. She focused on her career and is climbing the ranks. Crystal was fired from her company, thankfully, so Mom was able to have her peace. During vacations, I always went to her house and stayed there the whole time. Life with Crystal was miserable. I hate waking up and seeing her face first thing in the morning. I hate eating at the table with them, and I hate how they're happy. Well, I'm still very much affected by what happens. I hate their smile. I hate how I still like music that she shared with me. I hate how they laugh or even cuddle in front of me. Ugh! Are they not ashamed? I hate every bit of her, and if only I could afford to live on my own, I would have done it a long time ago. Not only that, but she has been very awful to me since she moved in. She does her cruelty very subtly so she can get away with it. She cooked everything that I hate, ruined my favorite clothes and dresses, and even destroyed my makeup. Yeah, can you believe it? And more. And you know what my father did after I told him what Crystal's been doing? Well, he sided with her, telling me that, all that she did was clearly an accident. I'm like, what? An accident? I get it if she only did it once or twice, something, but she's been ruining my life for ever. And that shameless girl even had the nerve to mock me and my mom, telling me how father chose her instead of us and how less of a wife and mom is than she is. She mocks Mom like they weren't friends before she and Dad even happened, which made me think that Crystal's relationship with us before was not genuine, but she's rather nothing more than a two-faced witch. She was just really different back then is the best that I can describe her with. So, months after the wedding, I started to notice Crystal acting, a bit shady. It was little things at first. See, she would take her phone with her everywhere, even to the bathroom, which I think she normally does not do. She whispers during phone calls, which is very sus. Once you've experienced it, it's really easy to recognize it again. Right then and there, I just knew that Crystal was up to no good. Anyways, yesterday, I was scheduled to go to Mom for summer vacation. I was about to leave when I saw that Crystal left her phone on the kitchen counter when she went to get her parcels. And luck was on my side yesterday because she left it open, maybe thinking I was already gone. Normally, I'd never invade her privacy, but curiosity got the best of me. Okay, you got me. I was really thinking I could get something to get back at her. Also, like I've said, she's been very sus these past few months. I looked at her phone and there it was. Explicit conversations between her and someone, flirty messages and SFW photos and videos, and plans to meet up. I don't know who it is, but I know it was not my father. For the guy, based on the messages, it feels like he's someone married and well-known in Crystal's work or something. My heart sank as I read through the messages. Crystal had promised that she changed, but here she was, betraying father just like she'd manipulated everyone else before. How could she do this? Again? So guys, what now? I mean, don't worry, I've learned my lesson and made sure to gather evidence of her affair, but now I'm at a loss. What should I do with it? I just know that I want her to pay for destroying my family. I'll update you guys in just a bit. Update number 1. Hey, it's been a week since my last post, and thank you guys, I'm so overwhelmed by your comments and support. To those saying I'm overreacting, well, you're just plumb crazy. Are you seriously suggesting it's okay to let someone cheat as long as the family's okay? Well, I strongly disagree. And can I just say that that's so messed up? This isn't just about causing drama or meddling in adult issues. Cheating is a major issue and a big no-no. I can't just sit back and let it happen, okay? There were a lot of people suggesting that I should just show this to my father so he could leave Crystal. But no, I wanted petty revenge. Crystal did not deserve to leave my family unscathed. So I made a plan, inspired by some of the comments and suggesting these petty things that I could do. I love you guys for that. After the night that I posted here, I started searching for the name of the guy in Crystal's social media, and even in her LinkedIn. Lo and behold, it was her boss. After figuring it out, I decided to confront Crystal and blackmail her with the evidence. I told her that if she didn't leave us, I would expose her nasty secrets, and I was confident my plan would work. I mean, where did she have a saying that could counter what I just did, right? Well, you know what? I was wrong. Yesterday was D-Day, the day I've been dreading. It was a Saturday, and with father still away on this trip with his buddies, it was just Crystal and me at home. I've been working up the nerve to confront her for days, rehearsing what I was going to say over and over again. That's how nervous I was. The thought of it made my stomach churn, but I knew that it had to be done if I wanted to have revenge. Morning came, and I found Crystal in the kitchen casually eating her breakfast. She offered me some, but I declined, of course. I wouldn't want to embarrass myself and vomit in front of her because of how nervous I was. I was really trying my best to keep my voice steady when I told her straight out that I knew she was cheating on father. And then the leave us thing. You know, Crystal, she tried to brush me off, telling me to stop spouting nonsense and ruining their relationship, but I was ready. I pulled out my phone and showed her the evidence that I gathered. Her eyes widened for a moment, but then a cold, mocking smile spread across her face. She then told me that if I don't stop, she can no longer help herself but do bad things. I felt my hands tremble. This was my first time seeing her like that, but no, I wasn't going to back down now. I would not let her stop me, so I stood my ground. What she did next made me want to cry. Crystal showed me tons of photos that showed how dad cheated on mom with her. I felt more and more nauseous, and she made it clear that exposing her would mean dragging dad down with her. All of it would take was just one tap, she said, and everything would be posted and it would ruin us. Well, she walked away with her smoothie bowl and left me dumbfounded. The reality of what she said is sinking in slowly. I didn't know that she had something like that. I mean, I should have expected it, so now I regret everything I've done. How am I supposed to expose her now that she has something on me? Well, not me per se, but Dad. You know, I don't want to be the reason why father's reputation will be ruined. I could not let her win. I had to think. I had to find a way to deal with this without destroying everything. What I know now is that I should get my hands on that evidence and everything will be back according to plan. But I don't know how. Update number 2. While I was scrolling through my last update 3 days ago, I thought of a plan. If you remember, I have evidence of my stepmom Crystal cheating on my father. What I discovered was enough to blow up her whole facade, but she had something on me that would ruin father. So my goal is to get what she has so I can proceed with destroying her. Getting my hands on her evidence, though, was not going to be very easy. I figured that there was no other way to retrieve those other than by stealing her phone or hacking. Stealing her phone would be hard since Crystal has become way more cautious. Yep, since then, never letting her phone out of sight. Hacking her phone seemed like the only viable option, but I had no clue how to do it. Luckily, I have some tech-savvy friends who know a few hackers. These people are basically hackers who use their skill for good, for illegal purposes. They're called white hat, and they could help me for the right price. Now, the problem was money. I didn't have it, but I knew somebody who did, Crystal. That's when I came up with my scheme. I would propose a deal. I would tell her I need money for some makeup and dresses I really wanted, and in return I would promise to delete all the evidence that I have on her. It was time to put my plan into action. So, I approached Crystal last night while she was lounging in the living room. I put on my best innocent face and started talking about the amazing high-end makeup and dresses all my friends had. I made it sound like the most important thing in the world to me. She looked at me with a mix of irritation and disbelief, and told me that I seriously want money for that. I said I would do anything because I really do want it, but Father would surely not give me the money for these kind of things. We went back and forth for what felt like hours. She even belittled me, calling me stupid and shallow, but I kept pressing, pretending to be the desperate person on the verge of tears, and finally, with an exasperated sigh, I acted like I gave up. I proposed I would go on to delete all the evidence I had on her. Finally, she agreed and told me that she could not believe I would stoop so low just to get what I want. Well, I showed her I deleted the evidence on all the devices, but of course, I had a backup. I took the money, but little did she know I was not going to spend it on makeup or dresses. I was going to use it to hire those hackers and expose her dirty secrets. The next day, I met up with the person and explained the situation to him. At first, we had some misunderstandings because they told me that my dad deserved what happened. He cheated on Mom, so they said that I should just call it quits. I argued with them and asked how about Crystal. She had not been punished yet, so in the end he agreed. I handed over the money and he got to work. A few days later, he managed to hack into Crystal's phone. Now it was just a matter of deciding the best way to reveal her secret. Should I go straight to Dad? But I was figuring out if there's a more dramatic way to ensure everyone sees Crystal for who she really is. I want her to really hit the bottom. I mean, she deserves it. Update number 3. Crystal betrayed me, and I thought my plan was not going to work again. But I did it. I think Crystal is going to take my bait. Okay, sorry, I was excited. It's only a matter of time before I get some sweet revenge. Let me catch you guys up. You remember I hired a hacker. But to hire him, I needed money, so 2 weeks ago I made a deal with Crystal, telling her I need money for makeup and clothes. In exchange, I promised to delete the dirt that I had on her. Well, she agreed. So when I got the money from Crystal, I thought I was set. But Crystal played me because she went straight to Dad and said I extorted her for cash. She even showed him the bank transfer to prove that it was real, making it look like I was really the bad guy. I was speechless. I mean, she got me. Dad was very angry and demanded I return the money or I will be kicked out. I couldn't believe him. He believed Crystal without a doubt in the world and went to those lengths to kick me out just to satisfy her. That night, I told her that she should not have messed with me, and she's going to regret what she's done. But I was stuck. I could either expose the truth about Crystal's lies or give her back the money to avoid getting kicked out. My problems don't end there. I already paid the hacker. I don't have the money. And my only option was to stop my plan, ask the hacker to return some of the payments, and find a way to get the money, just to cover the ones that were used to pay the hacker. But then it hit me. If Dad found out about Crystal's cheating, everything would change, so I stuck with the plan, duh. Last week, I negotiated with Father and pleaded if I could just get a month to come up with a salary, and thankfully he agreed. That's when I initiated Plan A. First, I create an anonymous account and then started dropping hints about Crystal's affair with her boss. I posted blurred photos, redacted some parts of the screenshots and conversations, and more to hide our mystery cheater. The idea was to make her so mad that she would slip up and post something incriminating about Dad cheating. This is where the hacker comes in. We just needed Crystal to post the thing about Dad, that's it. The plan is that the moment she posts anything about Dad's affair with her, the hacker can swap it with photos of her affair with her boss, because we already have access to her accounts. All the evidence about my father will be deleted in seconds, and by the time she figures it out, it'll be too late. What's the best revenge other than getting ruined by yourself? A few days later, the anonymous account started to gain traction. People were curious about the hints being dropped, and Crystal noticed it. What can I say? People love gossip. Then last night, I overheard Crystal on the phone panicking. Perfect. Just as planned. Like I've said, it's only a matter of time. I just hope Crystal doesn't use this app so I won't get busted. Update number 4. It finally happened yesterday, a day after my post. Crystal confronted me. She stormed inside my room, shouting if it was me who owns the account. Well, she knew. Of course she knew. So what's the point of denying it? However, I did not answer her. I don't want to give her satisfaction. Heck, I don't even want to talk to her. So, in an attempt to throw her off balance, I played it cool, shrugging nonchalantly, which only made her angrier. I tried to appear calm even though my heart was racing, and I just looked at her, then went back to whatever I was doing. She kept pestering me, pushing me to admit that I was the owner of the anonymous account, so I said maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But if I were, might just have more to say next week. Well, that did it. I can't even describe how angry she was when she called me a little brat and threatened me that if I dared posting anything else, she would make sure father was exposed first. Bingo! She took the bait. So the next day I posted again, but this time it had her name. Minutes after that, my phone was buzzing nonstop because I had turned on the notification, and the second she posted anything, Crystal had wasted no time. She posted the evidence of Dad's affair with her, but I was ready. I quickly messaged the hacker and told him do the switcheroo. Moments later, the post began to change. It was almost magic. I can't explain the feeling as I constantly refresh her account and see the post changing. Photos of father vanishing and were replaced by images of Crystal's nasty affair with her boss. Their photos and videos, they're dirty, everything. Then the hacker changed the password so Crystal couldn't delete the post. I imagined her reaction as she scrolled through the feed, expecting to see my dad's dirty affair aired out for the world, only to find her own nasty things instead. I could almost hear the screams of the frustration and panic. Later that day, she stormed back into my room, but this time her smug and mocking face was gone. She barely had enough voice as she asked me what have I done. I learned what she was thinking in that moment, so I leaned back in my chair, crossed my arms, and told her that I warned her not to mess with me. Crystal's eyes filled with tears, and for a moment I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Over the next few days, the house was eerily quiet. I forgot to mention it, but father did not escape the white hacker. At the end of the post, there were 2 photos of Dad's affair with Crystal. I guess the hacker couldn't bear to leave father unscathed. Well, he did deserve it, so I did not bother arguing with him. Dad left the house, maybe unsure of what to do, while Crystal locked herself in the room, probably trying to figure out her next move. She hasn't gone to work yet. I mean, how could she? I bet she'll be fired once she gets back there. Her reputation was destroyed, and I think any attempt to retaliate would only dig her deeper into this hole that she created for herself. Serves you right, cheater. Well, and that's it for me, guys. See ya. Final update. Hey guys, it's me again. This is months later. Well, as expected, once Dad got back home, he kicked Crystal out. He didn't even bother to let her get her things and claimed that he bought all of her stuff anywho, so she did not have the right to them. Then father filed for divorce. So Crystal's out of our lives and good riddance. Lucky for father, they had signed a prenuptial agreement, so Crystal would not get a cent from him. You should have seen her face when she realized she wasn't getting anything. Does she not know the document she was signing? How stupid. And as if things could not get worse for her, she did get fired, yep. Her affair going viral meant that nobody wanted to touch her with a 10-foot pole. Every job application for a professional role probably went straight to the shredder. Oh, and her boss got fired too. Well, Dad, on the other hand, has been recovering from Crystal's damage. He's been more relaxed and has even started picking up some old hobbies. But I think I could say that he's still miserable. He tried getting back with Mom, but she didn't want to because he really hurt her. All these hobbies he got back to were all that was left of him. Most of his friends left him after they discovered what happened between him and Mom, so he's all alone now. I mean, he did deserve it, didn't he?